Now, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like sometimes you're living a one-dimensional life, that you're stuck in the norms set upon you from society, the expectations of others? Well, listen, in this video, I'm going to talk about a concept I uncovered, being a multi-dimensional person. Now, look, I thought at one point in my life that everything around me was collapsing. The amount of pain I felt was crazy. I was virtually hitting rock bottom. But then I discovered that within me, I had all these dimensions that I was not expressing. And there was this creative force. And if I could unleash it and I could just kind of broaden who I was, the impact could be incredible. And in this video, I'm going to tell stories of my transformation, how I transformed, what I went through, how I approached this, and hopefully it's going to inspire you to relook at your life, relook at your potential, find purpose, and be inspired. So if you're ready, here we go. In this video, I'm going to talk about a key concept, which is about being multidimensional. And it's a concept that sounds basic and easy, but it's very, very fundamental in my experience if you really want to live an inspired life. And it came to me over time as I was coming out of a very difficult spot of my life. I went through very, very difficult moments, and I realized that in many ways we limit ourselves. We limit life to these concepts, these ideas of what life is, what life should be about. And, it's very limiting. It could be like, you have a job. So you have your main job, you have your family, you have a few hobbies, you have your entertainment, and that's, and your holidays, whatever, but it's quite limiting. And the potential we have to express our uniqueness, our individuality, whatever we have inside is often kind of tapered down. And it's even looked upon sometimes negatively, like, you should be giving 100% to the family or 100% to the job or 200%, nothing else. But I found that I can do so much more if I let the creative expression, the energy inside of me, what I'm passionate about, and I invest and I put it out into the world. And the amount of projects over the last 2 years that I've done and put out there, it's insane. Writing a book, starting a t-shirt and a hoodie company, was basically a project for my son so he could learn about e-commerce, just doing all these different things, just crazy real estate projects in multiple places, building houses, etc. Now, you might say it's true. I came to a point in my life where I'm able to do this because also I built a strong career. I set aside money. So financially, I have some means. And it's true that if you're, working in the factory, miserable job, it's so hard to, do maybe some of the things I've done. Although some really don't require money. If you have a computer and the internet, I wanted to teach my kids, like, you can start an online store in 3 nights and a weekend with good quality products. And, they didn't believe it. So I did it. And, if you have, and you can self-educate today. In the past, you needed to go to some crazy university, spend tons of money to get the best knowledge. Today, to be honest, between Coursera, all the things out there you can get from great professors, but what's on YouTube is like the biggest learning machine available for you for free. You need to find good teachers and the right topics, but you can pretty much learn so many skills. You can learn. There's this really very wealthy Australian, I think he's in the top 30 Australian wealthiest people in the world. He's a young guy. And he tells the story on YouTube how he started his business. I mean, it's brilliant. And then he did a 3-hour video, 3 hours, A to Z, how to set up an online store, how to sell products, how to do Facebook advertising. He just walks through it. I told my kids, like, this is crazy. You'll get access to a level of knowledge. You just watch this. And it's funny because, setting up the store, and if you're interested, check it out, www.streetcouture.co. Check out what we built, because I'm talking here and you might be like, yeah, blah, blah, just to show like, I built this, but it was a project for my son so he could learn e-commerce and he can go out there and learn about, return on advertising spend, learn about, Google Analytics 4, learn about, social selling and in social commerce and TikTok and how do you create business. And he's 15. And just imagine when I was his age, none of this was available. Like if I wanted to start a company, when I came out of university in Switzerland, it was $50,000 to start a company. Now you can set up a business online. There's kids that are 25 years old who are bringing in, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands a month. And then you maybe seen the videos of all these gurus and then the videos about the fake gurus. So you gotta be careful who you watch and who you follow. So, I spend a lot of time trying to identify, checking, who are the people out there, that I'm gonna want to learn from, and not trying to sell me some course or sell me something, that I don't want. And actually, the money they're making is a great book called Fast Lane Millionaire. I've listened to so many books about success, business, money, etc. This is a young guy. He's a little bit arrogant in his approach, but the path I took is what you call the slow lane. You build it over, 20, 30 years of setting aside money, building slowly. The fast lane is where you use certain platforms, methods to build wealth rapidly, and they're never been more available. And now with AI unlocking so much, I tell you, young kids or people my age, you can set up a side hustle and business so easily. It's crazy. So anyways, back to the concept of multiple dimensions. So I've always been someone who likes to frame things, put things into a system, right? The complexity of the world, there's so much going on. How do you? So the concept of multidimensional being is saying I am more than just being a father, a senior executive businessman, a real estate investor on the side, right? There's so much more. And these are these dimensions. And you need to take a bit of a different approach to see what do you have inside of you that you're not expressing, but that you're passionate about. So in 1991, I went around the world for 6 months and I bought a video camera. And I had a camera and a tripod. And I always loved photography, videography. I edited it in those times, put music on it, and did a 1 hour. This is way before YouTube. Only friends and family saw it. But I was like, the people who travel around the world, beautiful places. I went to Bali, I went to Australia. I bought a car, this crazy Valiant Ranger blue turquoise car, and drove up for 2 months the coast of Australia. But anyways, all this to say is there was something inside of me. There's something inside of you. And I loved photography, video editing and all that. And I just stopped it. I stopped it in my life. And I came back to it. And I was like, I'm going to learn these new softwares, doing these videos. There's a platform called YouTube where you can tell your stories, you can express yourself. So that was a part of me. Another part of me was a storyteller. I love to build the lessons. And the stories here is not just about telling stories, making up stories. It's the stories of life, the lessons I've learned, what I've experienced, what I've read. I've been always a very curious person. I like to go deep on topics, and I go through phases. There's a phase I was into everything, nutrition and learning about, alternatives to healing. And then there's a phase I was into neuroplasticity of the brain and reading about that, and just some great books out there. And then lately I've been into, artificial intelligence, and I'm seeing things that are shaping society, shaping the future. And I'm sending to my kids, you got to be on this. You need to be on this. This is transforming. And, they were not biting again. So I was like, well, I'm going to create some tutorials. I'm going to show, through videos. I created, in this channel, I started posting videos. And that's why it's a bit strange, this video, because it's not in line with the first videos I did, the Life Inspired. I started because I want to teach my kids that you could start, a t-shirt company online in a couple days. It's insane. And then I was like, oh, look at these, extensions and Chrome and ChatGPT makes your life so much easier. But anyway, so these different dimensions, and this is part of me. You will be different. What drives you, but do you know it? Do you feel it inside? I've spoken about this book, a crazy book, The Pathless Path, about choosing vocation, choosing a job, choosing what you do in life. And there's this piece about what fires you up. And it's hard if you don't know, right? Let's say you've never played drums. Well, and you start playing and you love it. Well, it's very hard to know that you love playing drums if you haven't done it. So one of the things is, for me, is trying a lot of things, experimenting and seeing what you do, and you're not doing it. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not spending hours editing these videos because I'm going to make money. I'm doing it because I love it. Now, if in the process you do something well, and this is the theory, if you're good at something, you're passionate about it, you can teach other people, they can learn something, and they like your content, well, in the process, you know what? Normally, you can actually get a return on that time invested. You can actually make some money. So that's one of the things. But what are you passionate about? What are the dimensions of you that are not expressed? And it's nice, you put it on paper, right? You write down these different building blocks of your life, these different dimensions that you want to express. Now, I have a friend of mine, he's an entrepreneur in the Philippines, done very well, sold his business. This is a guy who knows about making money. He knows about business. And he comes to me and he says, And Nathan, you're all over the place, man. You're all over the place. And he's absolutely right. If the sole purpose was to make money, in a way, like, I should maybe focus. But at the same time, for me, part of who I am is just this curiosity on many things. Why do I invest in real estate in so many different places? Because one place for me is boring. So managing multiple projects, building a house in Sardinia, building homes in Montenegro, managing rental homes, another dimension of myself. It's a part of me. And it's a dimension of me, but it's a part. It's not who I am, because first of all, we are not all these things inside, but it's a part of me, something I love. So this concept of being a multidimensional being, I think is huge. And it's basic. And you might say nothing new there. But for me, when I ask people, there's this exercise we did. I went to Wharton to do this advanced management program, brilliant program with the senior executives from around the world. Met great friends, actually, that entrepreneur from the Philippines, I met him there. And they start on the first day and they do this exercise. This is day one. And you're in a room and you pair up with someone and you ask the person for 1 minute in a row, 1 or 5, I can't remember. Anyways, who are you? Who are you? And the person answers. So you do a first round. Then you go to someone else and they change the rules. They say, you cannot use a function. Like, I'm a father, I'm an executive. You cannot use that. And then again, you go through and you're like, oh, wow, I can't use that. Who are you? And you go and you answer the question. And then you do it again and again. And man, oh, by the way, every time you go to the next person, you cannot repeat something you said to the prior person. By the 5th time, you're going deep. Like, you don't just go, I am blah, blah, blah. You're thinking deep about who you are. It was super powerful. And me, it links back to this concept of multidimensional being, because it's so hard to put yourself in a little box or 3 boxes. I'm a father, I'm a senior executive, and I don't know. I do this hobby. Oh, I'm a skier, and there's so much more if you let life come through and out of you and you express it. And we're numbed down. We spend our time, social media, TV, being entertained passively, sitting there and just and feeling something. Because yes, it impacts us, and that's fine. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying is, when you look at the time and how you spend your time, and being entertained should be a portion of your time, but should not be the majority of a free time. And if you look at work, you have paid work and you have non-paid work. It means duties, etc. So let's say you work for a job that's paid work. You have non-paid work, all your duties, your chores, etc. And then you have the rest of the hobbies, the activities. That time is actually not that big. And life passes fast. So what you do with that time? So you have the time you spend, at work. Okay, fine. That's time you spend doing chores. You have to prepare your taxes. You got to, prepare food for your kids, whatever it is. Just the time you spend, and you have obligations. And then you have the rest. And then, your Saturday night, your Saturday, because you're not working, it's a weekend. What do you do with that time? And it's, in my view, it's critical. It's like a key question. And you can unlock, and that's where the concept of multi-dimensions, being a multi-dimensional being comes out. Because if in that time you expand, you express, you try, but you got to be fired up. You got to feel it inside. And that's how you find out. Because one of the questions I get is, well, how do you find out about your dimensions? And there's no magic path. But that there's some exercises you can do, in terms of writing down on paper, kind of seeing what inspires you, what are the things that when you're doing, feel the best. So there's different exercises you can do, but it's so important, and your dimensions will be unique to you. And so, in this video, I just wanted to share this concept. There's so many others I'm 100% passionate about, and I could spend virtually hours. On the side, I wrote a book. It's 1,000 pages. It's brutal. It's non-readable. It's just too heavy. There's too much research into the science, the studies, the research papers. It's a bit too academic in a way, but while not being academic, because I'm not a professor. So I decided he worked on it for 8 years, but all of that content, I could do hours and hours on different ones. You know, I had a whole section on relationships, and I built this method. It's just such a simple tool to look at the relationship, to look at your life and what helps make potential relationship successful. And I can tell you, I applied it to my life, but I've sat on airplanes and start talking to someone about this, and they're like, oh my God, that's such a great tool. So, and I got so many others. So if you're interested in this type of things, if you like the content, you know, please tell me that if you like it, click the like button. I know it sounds cheesy, but just, it helps me that people are saying, yeah, I like what you're doing. This takes time. This takes energy. I thought I'd put it out there. It's a bit different from my first videos, a bit, you know, about how to use it, artificial intelligence. But this channel is about the life inspired. This channel is about being inspired in life, being fired up. And this is my way of sharing what inspires me and what I've learned and the journey I've been on. So I hope you liked it. Well, if you did and you subscribe to the channel, well, then I'll be seeing you in a future video. See you soon.